Today, we're going to use two-dimensional shapes to design an awesome robot in Google Drawings. This is our robot, the ShapeBot 9000. Now, the shapes that you use to design your robot are totally up to you. But you do need to be able to name each shape and identify some of their properties, like we've done here. We recommend using between 5 to 10 shapes throughout your entire design. It's also important to note that this task might take a few sessions to complete, so don't feel that you have to get it done in one sitting. Firstly, let's look at a couple of ways we will be transforming 2D shapes in Google Drawings. In this session, we will slide or translate shapes by clicking and dragging them across the canvas. Holding down Shift will lock the shape to move along the horizontal or vertical axis. We will flip or reflect the shapes by right-clicking and selecting Rotate, Flip horizontally, or Rotate, Flip vertically. We will also turn or rotate shapes by clicking and dragging the little blue dot above the shape. Holding down Shift whilst rotating shapes will snap the rotation to 15-degree increments. Lastly, we will be scaling our shapes up and down by dragging from one of the bounding box corners. Holding down Shift while doing this will scale the shape proportionately. For example, if you click and drag a rectangle and then hold down Shift, it will instead create a square. Alright, let's get started. Here we are in Google Drawings. This checkerboard section here is our canvas, where we will create our robot. The first thing we are going to do is name our document. Our robot is called ShapeBot 9000, so let's use that as our file name. This document will automatically be saved in your drive. Next, we are going to resize our canvas to be the size of an A4 page. Go to File, Page Setup, and select Custom from the drop-down menu. Change the unit of measurement to centimeters and change the values to 21 and 29.7. Then click Apply. Now we are going to add a background. Right-click on the checkerboard canvas and select Background. You can choose a solid color for your background, or, like we're doing, choose a gradient background. We're going to apply this nice light purple gradient. Looking good. Now, let's start adding some shapes. In the toolbar, select the shape icon, then Shapes. Our first shape is going to be a trapezium or trapezoid, depending where you're from. Again, feel free to choose your own shapes for your own design. Click and drag across your canvas to create your first shape. We are going to rotate or turn our trapezium 180 degrees using the little blue dot at the top. Hold down Shift to snap the rotation as it turns. Can you think of another way we could have achieved this transformation? We are then going to drag this little yellow rhombus on the bounding box to widen the bottom of our shape a little. Next, apply some color to your shape using the Fill Color tool, the paint bucket. We are going to use this bright orange color. Now, we are going to add some legs to our robot using rectangles. Click the shape icon, Shapes, and select Rectangle. Again, click and drag to draw your shape. Right-click the rectangle and select Order, Send to Back to move it behind the trapezium. Again, apply a new fill color to the rectangle using the paint bucket icon. To create a second leg, right-click the rectangle and select Copy. Right-click again and choose Paste. Slide or translate this second rectangle to its new position. You can use the red guides to help ensure that the legs are aligned. Again, right-click the second leg and choose Order, Send to Back. Click anywhere on the canvas or press Escape to deselect everything. To add some feet, we are going to use an irregular pentagon. That is a 5-sided polygon where the sides are of any length. In our Shapes panel, it's called Snip Single Corner Rectangle. Drag this new shape out to create a foot, and use the yellow rhombus to adjust the size of the snipped edge. As with the other shapes, apply a new fill color. Now let's duplicate our shoe. Right-click, Copy, and right-click, Paste to create a second shoe. Here, however, we need the shoe to be facing the other way, so we are going to flip or reflect the shape horizontally. To do this, right-click the shape and select Rotate, Flip horizontally. Then move your shoes into position. We are now going to add some small circles to represent shoulders. To do this, select Oval from the Shapes menu. Now, as you're clicking and dragging your shape, make sure to hold down Shift to create a perfect circle. If you don't hold down Shift, you will instead create an oval, which is fine if that's the shape you want to use. Repeat the process of applying a fill color, sending it to the back if required, and duplicating the shape for the other shoulder. Let's fast forward now as we create the rest of our robot using the same techniques we've just covered. Alright, here's how our ShapeBot 9000 looks with all the shapes added. Once you're happy with your design, click and drag a box over your entire robot to select all the shapes. Then right-click and select Group to group these shapes together. Scale down your entire robot by dragging from the bottom corner. Again, make sure to hold Shift so your robot doesn't become squished. Then, right-click and select Center on Page horizontally, and if required, move your robot down the page a little. With your robot group still selected, select the Border Color tool, the pencil icon, and choose Transparent. This will turn off the stroke around all your shapes. Then, select Format Options and tick the box next to Drop Shadow to give your robot a nice sense of depth on the page. Then, close the Format Options panel. Right, our robot's looking pretty great. It's now time to add a banner using, you guessed it, 2D shapes. Select a rectangle from the Shape icon menu in the toolbar and drag a thin rectangle across the top of your page with a little space either side. Double-click your shape to convert it to a text box and type the name of your robot. Click and drag to highlight the text and choose a new font. We are going to use the font Roboto Mono because it's a robot font. Make the text bold and change the size to better fit your banner. Our font size is 48. Then change the text alignment to center and middle. Lastly, choose a new fill color for your rectangle and, if you like, some new color for your text. Alright, we're now going to add a shape called a chevron, which can be found in the Shape icon menu under Arrows. This shape might also be called an irregular hexagon and looks like two parallelograms stuck together. Click and drag a chevron and then adjust using the small yellow rhombus. Then apply a new fill color to your chevron, usually a darker shade of your rectangle color. Then right-click and choose Order, Send to Back. Now, Right-click Copy and right-click Paste to duplicate the chevron shape and slide it to the other side of the banner. Right-click and select Rotate, flip horizontally. Send the chevron behind the rectangle and adjust the position as required. Click and drag a box over the whole banner. Right-click and select Group, just as we did with our robot. With the banner still selected, turn the border color to transparent and add a drop shadow in the Format Options menu. Lastly, right-click and select Center on Page horizontally. The next thing we are going to add to our design is a series of text boxes that will identify and describe the shapes we've used. Select the text box icon, the square with a T inside, and drag out a new text box. Before typing, change the font in your text box. We're going to use Roboto Mono and reduce the font size to 12. We're going to label our robot's head first, which is a regular pentagon. Take a new line by pressing Enter and then select the bulleted list option to create a set of bullet points. This is where we are going to list some of the properties of our 2D shapes. We're going to list properties such as the number of sides and the number of angles, and whether or not these are equal. Discuss with your teacher to determine the types of properties they would like you to include. Next, apply a fill color to your text box using the paint bucket. Then, highlight the name of your shape and make it bold so it stands out a little more. As we did with all our other shapes, add a drop shadow in Format Options. Resize the text box if required. Now that we've added one text box, it's simply a matter of copying and pasting to create duplicates. Then all we do is replace the relevant information. Let's fast forward through this process. You'll notice that you have a fair bit of flexibility to resize the text boxes to fit around your robot. The text inside should wrap to fill the space. If you're really struggling for space, however, you can always scale down your robot a little. Alright, now that we've added all our text boxes, it's time to connect them with their matching 2D shapes. To do this, select the drop-down arrow next to the line icon and choose Elbow Connector. You'll notice that when you hover over a text box or a shape, a collection of purple dots will appear. These are our connection points. Click and drag from one of these points and connect it to another purple dot on the matching 2D shape, in our case the regular pentagon. Google Drawings will automatically create a connector line between these two points. Then, select the Border Dash tool and change the solid line to a dashed line. Go through now and connect all the text boxes to the matching 2D shapes in your robot, noting that you can connect multiple lines to the same purple dot. Now, here's the best part about using elbow connectors. When we go back and make a small adjustment to the position of a text box, you'll notice that everything stays connected. How cool is that? Once you've adjusted the position of all your text boxes, add another small text box in the bottom corner for your name. We hope you enjoyed creating and transforming 2D shapes to create your very own ShapeBot 9000. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Much on for the weekend, Pete?
Oh, not much. Maybe a little square dancing.
Nice one. Hey there! If you like what we do here at Teach Wonderful, make sure to subscribe to our channel. You'll also find plenty of amazing teaching ideas, student worksheets, and merch over at teachwonderful.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.